in light of protests taking place all over the country in response to the death of George Floyd.
Pastors organized a kneel down
Say
in
the
Jackson
kneel down
Square.
that took place right here at Jackson Square.
The heart of the city is surrounded by the spirit of addiction, drugs, all that. So we need to take the heart back. We're all going to hit our knees, and for 30 minutes, we're going to be inviting the Pentecostal Holy Spirit into the heart of our city. We get to go there tomorrow and invite the Holy Spirit to remove the marks of generations, which really what's happening in Minnesota, which is the continuation of what happened generations ago that created a mark there in the center of our city.
You're addressing the social gaps with spiritual acts that are necessary. But that leads on to what is the next step.
Everybody understood that the only way to deal with the ills of our society was to deal with the part of the society that we caused to have an ailing perspective in the first place. Let's get our politicians together, let's get our law enforcement together, let's get our faith-based community together, the leaders, the pastors, under one roof and talk about a solution. We got several of our city council persons, state representative, and Sergeant Merrick. From there was born this opportunity, this vision. Pastor Dean Sunseri, again, I thank God for the brother. He came up with the idea of adopt a cop. He said, man, let us get together. All of us agreed to just gather one police officer's name and pray for him.
You know, while we were in here, we prayed together and we had some good conversations. Two shooters that we had been looking for that had been involved in a murder a few days earlier came and turned themselves into the station. That doesn't happen very often. There was certainly an intervention there because we had been looking for him, and you know, I didn't take it as a coincidence, if you will. It was certainly it was a good day in the 7th District that day.
7th District, as you know, is in New Orleans East, and it's just a area where there's some high crime levels. So I had asked Captain Gernon, I said, what can we do to serve you? He thought about it, and he really came up with a profound idea. He said, what I would love is we know where the people that are using drugs, we know where the criminals are. He said, instead of us just going in and arresting them and putting them in the system, how about we get some pastors to go in first line and see if y'all can help them. And if you can help them, get them off the streets, everybody wins.
And I had this one house in particular that had been abandoned since Katrina. So we're talking 15 years later. And a local narcotics dealer set up shop a couple houses down from this house. People would go to him, they would buy, they'd walk across the street, they'd go in the house, and they would shoot heroin.
I was not only able to put a name to the individual, but I knew where he lived. And I actually went to his house looking for him, couldn't find him, but I called up to him and developed a rapport with him, started talking to him. When his mother passed away, that was really pivotal in his life, and he didn't care about living or dying. The one thing that I noticed that really made the difference, to be honest with you, it was not so much that I cared. It was not so much that I took time to talk to him. It was so much that the police department could have arrested him on several occasions, and they didn't. And I wanted him to understand that the mercy that was extended was because the police department didn't want to arrest you. They had you dead to rights. They knew who you were, but they decided to show mercy by pulling us into the fray and asking us, could we come in and play a role in it. That made him say, I'm ready to give up. I'm ready to turn myself in because I don't want to spend time in jail. And believe it or not, he has a bad past.
Everybody in the world could have ignored Elmdale Street House, right? But, I mean, you guys went out there, y'all connected with one of the main users. That was kind of the reason why everybody else would come around. In the meantime, we were able to work with the city to get the house eventually torn down. And just yesterday, because we didn't forget about the enforcement part too, the DEA actually did a search warrant on the house that was dealing the drugs and was able to arrest the 2 drug dealers that had been supplying the heroin to everybody in that neighborhood. It really kind of shows that partnership of, yeah, we all have our roles, but we are become so much more powerful if we kind of combine forces and we each kind of take our lane, but also share information and work with each other across those lanes. You know, there's a lot of reasons that a community might distrust their police. If I can give people in my neighborhood a reason to trust us a little bit more, then that's a win for us at the end of the day.